Hello dudes and dudesses. Today we're gonna get down and dirty. It's gonna be all about mud. And the machine you see right there that converts muds into something else. What on earth is this monstrosity, you might ask? Well, very simply put, it's a machine that converts mud blocks into these blocks here, clay. And clay is a very, very nice block that can be converted into terracotta, glazed terracotta, and even bricks. With the introduction of mud blocks, these one right here that has eluded the system, that one right there, and the very groovy, the mangroovy swamps, Mojang made clay renewable in a whole new way. And we're gonna be looking at that's, I really don't know what that is. I was distracted at some point and I started building this, don't know what it is, has nothing to do with this. We're going to be looking at these two here, right here, which is small setups that convert dirt into mud. And then we're going to be looking at this monstrosity that converts mud into clay. If I put a clay block in there, and you will see that the clay, you probably know this, the clay will convert into, ta-da, terracotta. And if I put it in again, it will do nothing. Because for some reason, normal terracotta doesn't do anything. But if I take some kind of dye and I put it in here like this, and I put that into the oven, you can see we're getting a result. We are getting glazed terracotta. And of course, glazed terracotta is very useful in a lot of redstone and farm contraption where you use, for instance, slime blocks because they don't stick to slime blocks. Now, clay blocks, of course, also can be made into these small fellows, clay balls. And if I put in those, bricks. And this is actually a renewable way to get bricks. And of course you can get it through villager trading, but this is definitely another way. And bricks can be used, of course, to make brick blocks. And brick blocks, of course, is one of my favorite building materials. As soon as you mix it up, for instance, with this and with granite, you have a very nice weathered brick look. So to sum it up, mud blocks is amazing because it can turn into all of these things. The problem with mud blocks is that they're only found in the groovy swamps, the mangroovy swamps, and if you don't want to tear out a swamp, if you find one, they can be rather few and far apart. How do you get mud blocks? Well, luckily, there is a way to do that. Because this machine, which is my own design, which is basically, I think it's a normal design out there. And this design, which is Ilmango's design, I will try to remember to link his video in my video description because he actually makes a tutorial. But what this thing does is that it takes dirt, which is easily and readily available in, well, all over, maybe not in this world, and convert it into mud block. Now, I have to be in survival to do this, but basically, you probably know this, you take a shovel, and what you need is dirt, like this. Let's just take out some of these, and then you need to put the dirt in your offhand like that. And then you just stand here and you do like this. And it's very, very satisfying. And you collect dirt down here. As you can see, we just made 21 in that clip alone. Well, how does this work then? Well, this is actually not the subject of this video, but I will very quickly show you. This is where we collect the mud blocks. And we do that because we break them over a hopper. This dropper right here just throws us mud or dirt that we can use, so we always have dirt in our inventory. But what happens down here is we have a dispenser, and it's filled with glass bottles, empty glass bottles. So when it dispenses up in water, it fills the glass bottle and it rises up here and falls down this hopper down to this dispenser right here. And because we have a power source here, every time we place a block here, this one will be powered, which spits us a block right there, and a water bottle will be dispensed into the dirt, which means that the dirt gets converted into mud. I will leave this in the world download and this as well, which is slightly modified version of Ilmango's, and I will try, as I said, to remember to link to his tutorial in the video description. That's how we get mud blocks. And of course, mud block in itself is already an interesting block, because if you combine it with wheat like this, you get packed mud like that. And if you put packed mud in a grid like this, you get these. So you will have some very, very interesting building blocks just from the mud. At least they're super interesting to me, because in my survival world I am building my mine palace primarily with this block right here. As you can see, that's quite a lot of that's quite a lot of, as you can see, that's now this is quite a lot of clay. Let me just go over here and remove it like this. So this is the room that we actually intend to fill. How do I explain this machine? In some ways it's probably very self-explanatory. What you can see is here we have an AFK spot in here, and in here I have the mud blocks that we got from using that machine, and it's put into a dropper right here. And then we have this redstone dust, which means that if I place this right here, you see this piston pushes it over like that, and every time it gives us some mud blocks. And if it gives us too many, it will go down in this right there and go back into the system. This is just pushing up into this. So that's how that works. We get supplied with mud blocks and we put them into the system. So basically the idea is that you'll be standing here and be AFK like this. The mechanic we're using is that if you place a mud block, which is containing water, over a block with a dripstone underneath, it drains the water and turns it into clay. Now, for this first part of the machine, we can actually use that, because if you, for instance, have a full block like this, it will be pushed over by this setup. This is no block with an observer and redstone and a piston. Very simple setup, a smart piston. But if you place a mud block, which is not a full block because you sink slightly into it, which is also why that you can put a hopper directly under a mud block and suck out things through it, you can see nothing happens. But look here, if I increase the random tick speed. And there you have it. As soon as it converts into clay, which is a full block, it gets pushed out. That is what we're using right here. So this is not only a smart piston in the sense that it has a block coming in and being pushed out like smart piston does. It's also smart in the sense that it only pushes when the mud is converted. Now, and this is individualized, it is measured on each block. So even if one block converts, one mud block converts, they're all pushed out. So you will see mud blocks in here, coming in here when we start up the machine, because one of them converts and they all get pushed. Now over here we just have a different kind of smart piston. Basically when a block is registered here, it gets pushed up with this small contraption right here, like that. And it's elevated up here where it gets pushed over another layer. So if the mud block isn't converted when it comes up here, it gets another chance. And the same up here. If it isn't converted here, it gets yet another chance to be converted. Like that. Let's just try and push up a few like this. And when it gets up here, we throttle it. So if it's not converted when it gets all the way up here, it has to wait for at least one of the mud blocks in this row to be converted before it's pushed over. So if I convert this, it will be pushed over. When the mud blocks or the clay blocks gets all the way over here, it gets pushed up like that, which means that we are able to stack a lot of stuff up here, which is why we get this block right here. And we then decide if we want to break it with either silk touch, so we get the clay, so we can make terracotta and glazed terracotta, or perhaps with a shovel with fortune, so we can get a lot of bricks. And now I've gone into survival mode, so you can see this thing in action. I have a stack that I pulled out from here, and I will just right click that block over there, and then you can see how it works. And then it stops because it's full and no mud block is converted, but it doesn't mean anything. You're still AFK. And as soon as one of these blocks in there are converted, in here, underneath these, it will push over. And there it was. And as you can see, it was one block down there that converted. All the rest are not. So they will be pushed over here. We essentially have 3 layers, 3 chances for each block to convert into clay. But if you were AFK, you would just start off by doing this again. So this is actually not a very fast process. To fill this entire space, it will take some hours, definitely. But then again, you just have to stand here and be AFK, pointing at that block, right clicking. That's all you have to do to get an insane amount of clay that you can use. When this gets full, eventually it will come up here. And by that time, hopefully like 99% of the mud blocks will be converted. One will slip through here and there, even though we have like 3 layers to convert it. A single one will slip through now and then, I've noticed, but most of them of course will be converted. And then when it reaches this block right here, as if we place that, you can see something happens. We're just using the trick with 3 walls to bring down an immediate redstone signal down here and turning off the farm. Now you won't be able to place any more mud blocks down here, and that just helps you so you don't have to clean up this, because otherwise it would mess up and you would have to clean it out manually before you start it the next time. So that's just a kill switch when the farm is full. Now hopefully this is pretty self-explanatory. You can see there's not much technical going on. These are the same basically everywhere. You may wonder, why do I use this setup right here with a sticky piston and observer to fire that? Because I mean, you can do it a different way. Well, if you don't do it like this, you will end up with a problem where it gets stuck. We only need a short burst right here. So like that. And there's a timing involved with these, as you can see. It's pretty neat. If I can get some distance, you can probably see it going around. like that. This big wall right here, which pushes over when a block is up here, or rather when a block is there, you can see it's just powered with observers going up. You could do this differently, but this is the lazy solution. Alright dudes and dudeesses, thank you for watching. As always, I will leave a world download in my Discord community. And if you found this video interesting, or if you're brand new to the channel, remember to subscribe, leave a like. It helps the channel grow and it helps other people be aware of the content that we put out. And it's free. It's absolutely free. It costs you nothing and you can always unsubscribe. So, as I said, thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.